As the truce that stopped the bloodshed in the Korean War turns 70, North and South Korea are marking the anniversary in starkly different ways. Satellite images of Pyongyang reveal a large-scale nighttime military parade. The images show large formations of the number 70 and slogans such as "Victory" and "Succeed." The parade is likely to include 15,000 personnel and possibly feature new designs of nuclear-capable weapons. Contrastingly, the mood is more sober in South Korea, where President Yoon Suk-yeol has invited dozens of foreign war veterans to honor the fallen soldiers of the conflict that killed and injured millions. In a rare diplomatic frenzy, North Korea has invited delegations from China and Russia to the huge celebrations likely to be highlighted by a military parade in Pyongyang. Now, they are the first known foreign delegations to visit North Korea since the pandemic. Pyongyang is looking to deepen ties with Beijing and Moscow. Russian Defence Minister Sergei Shoigu, who landed in Pyongyang, was welcomed by his North Korean counterpart and China's ruling Communist Party official. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken arrived in Wellington in New Zealand after his trip to Tonga. Blinken will meet government officials and watch the Women's World Cup soccer match between the US and the Netherlands. He will then travel to Brisbane in Australia along with US Defence Secretary Lloyd Austin. The agenda is to meet the Australian counterparts during his visit. The Pakistani Supreme Court has snubbed former Prime Minister Imran Khan's plea on the Tosha Khana case. The appeal was against the Islamabad High Court decision to send the case back to trial court for hearing. But the apex court has rejected this. Imran Khan now fears disqualification at the hands of the trial court. Imran Khan has been accused of selling gifts where he received when he was the Prime Minister at hefty prices. Australia and New Zealand committed to strengthening ties with the Pacific after their leaders met in Wellington for an annual meeting. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said that they were keen to show that they were reliable partners and are able to aid and support Pacific countries. Earlier this month, the United States, Australia and New Zealand called for Solomon Islands Prime Minister to immediately publish details of a policing deal with Beijing over concerns that it could invite further regional competition. India is marking the 24th anniversary of the Kargil War in the Indian Union territory of Ladakh. Indian Defence Minister Rajnath Singh saluted the soldiers who laid down their lives for the country. He addressed a commemoration event after laying a wreath at the Kargil War Memorial. Rajnath Singh said that India is ready to cross the line of control to maintain its honour. After the wreath-link ceremony, the Indian Defence Minister also met family members of the soldiers. The opposition parties in India have filed a no-confidence motion against the BJP-led government in the Parliament's lower house. The new opposition coalition, named Indian National Inclusive Development Alliance, or INDIA, has moved the motion demanding the Prime Minister to address the violence in the state of Manipur. Amid the protest, Home Minister Amit Shah attempted to break the deadlock by offering to discuss the situation in Manipur. Taiwan conducted anti-aircraft landing drills at its main international airport. Taiwan demonstrated its defensive tactics against an airborne assault of paratroopers and helicopters. Now, this is the first time the Taoyuan International Airport has been involved in Taiwan's annual military exercises. The airport, the island's most important air link with the rest of the world. Now, 6 helicopters and around 180 soldiers took part in the drill. The drill simulated the repulsion of an enemy force intending to seize control of air traffic control facilities at the airport. The United Nations has begun operations to remove over 1 million barrels of oil from a decaying supertanker off Yemen's Red Sea coast. As per the UN, the structural integrity of the tanker has significantly worsened, and it is at risk of exploding. If unchecked, the tanker could spill 4 times as much oil as the 1989 Exxon Valdez disaster in Alaska. The tanker has been removed off Yemen for more than 30 years and did not undergo any maintenance operations since 2015 due to the war in Yemen. The UN expects the oil transfer to continue for 19 days. Israeli doctors began a 24-hour strike in response to the government's ratification of the first part of the controversial judicial reforms bill. The Israeli Medical Association has ordered doctors to go on a strike for 24 hours nationwide. The Medical Association claims that the removal of the Supreme Court's overruling ability can give way to potential government involvement in decisions by the Health Ministry staff. The strike is not in effect in Jerusalem, which is the scene of escalating confrontations. Critics fear that these reforms endanger the independence of the courts in the country. The death toll in the Ecuador prison cases has risen to 31. The clashes between gangs began on Saturday in one of the most dangerous prisons in Ecuador. In response, the Ecuadorian government has declared a 60-day state of emergency for the country's prisons. Around 2,700 armed soldiers and the police officers entered the prison after the enactment of emergency and regained control over 3 cell blocks with controlled detonations. 120 prison officers have been freed after being held hostage in 6 jails around the country. And Paris is gearing up for the 2024 Olympic Games. The torch for the Games was shown for the first time at Paris's River Seine. The design of the Paris 2024 Olympic and Paralympic torch imitates the reflection of the Eiffel Tower on the surface of the Seine River. The torch has been made with lightweight polished steel and sports a champagne color. The torch will be used in the opening ceremony of the Olympics and will be held before more than 500,000 spectators. Specialized drones have begun carrying out deliveries of medical items in Europe. A new type of drone capable of carrying passengers carried out its first delivery and carried bags of blood. The drone was presented by the Belgium-based company. The drone simulated the delivery of the blood bags from one point to another in a distance of 1 kilometer, that is. The drone is slated to be useful for medical purposes, particularly for transporting blood and medical personnel to disaster areas. Hip-hop legend Tupac Shakur's ring sold for $1 million at an auction in New York. The ring is made of gold, ruby and a diamond crown. The New York-born rapper wore the ring during his final public appearance at the MTV Video Music Awards on September 4, 1996. He was shot dead by an unidentified assailant in a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas just days later at the age of only 25. The ring's winning bid was well above collectibles brokers Sotheby's pre-sale estimate. The initial estimate was between $200,000 and $300,000. At $1 million, Tupac's ring becomes the most valuable hip-hop artifact ever sold. Heavy rains have triggered severe flooding in Pakistan's eastern Punjab province. The incessant monsoon rains have submerged fields and homes in Nano-Dogar. According to the local weather authorities, monsoon rains are likely to continue during the week. The heavy rains have been forecasted in Balochistan, Upper Sindh and Punjab over the next few days. Residents have been disconnected from their homes and are currently moving to protect their cattle and their belongings. Over 50 pallid whales have died hours after stranding themselves on a beach in Western Australia. The pod of almost 100 long-finned pallid whales was spotted off the Chains Beach near Albany. The Parks and Wildlife Service was joined by volunteers who worked through the night to monitor the whales. Experts say that it was important to refloat the surviving whales quickly as pallid whales maintain strong family bonds. Algerians are stepping up to join the firefighting efforts of the government. The local residents from Algeria's Bejaja begin volunteer firefighting operations. 34 people have lost their lives in Algeria as fires burnt and destroyed homes and coastal resorts. Vast forest areas across the tinder-dry north have now turned into blackened wastelands. The Algerian president has issued condolences to the families of the deceased. This includes 10 soldiers who were trapped by the fires. A global team of scientists have concluded that human-induced climate change has played an absolutely overwhelming role in the extreme heat waves across the world. The World Weather Attribution has said that the evidence of the link between humans and heat waves was unequivocal. July has seen a record-breaking heat wave sparking massive wildfires across North America, Europe and China. They estimated that prolonged periods of extreme heat are likely to hit every 2 to 5 years if the average global temperatures rise above 2 degrees Celsius above the pre-industrial levels. The average temperatures are currently estimated to have risen more than 1.1 degrees Celsius. In a recent ruling, an Australian court has ordered Meta, the owner of Facebook, to pay $20 million. The US tech giant is accused of collecting user data through the app Onavo, advertised as a privacy protector without disclosure. The court found that Facebook used Onavo to collect users' location, app usage and website visits for advertising purposes, depriving thousands of Australians of informed choices. India's leading engineering firm Larsen & Toubro, or L&T, witnessed a remarkable 4.3% surge in its shares, reaching an all-time high of $32.56. This jump comes on the heels of the company's strong quarterly results, with a substantial 46.5% rise in profit, backed by a robust order book. L&T also announced a significant share buyback worth almost $1 billion and a special dividend of $0.073 per share, further boosting investor confidence.